Salutations, boys, girls, and kiddos of all ages. And welcome to another episode of Posing Action Figures with Toy the Poser, where I am your host, Toy the Poser. And here I am very happy to meet all of you, all my returning viewers, new subscribers, and old subscribers, and to all my new viewers of the channel, the ones that's just got here and just discovering me. I would like to say welcome and thank you for joining us, and to also let you know that this is not your average toy review channel. Just a simple little showcasing of all the things I like to collect in the form of action figures and toys. And by getting behind the camera, going into giant mode, I will show you exactly what I mean. Whoop, whoop. And here we are on the rotating rotator. We have the Marvel Legends series Ghost Rider, and I guess we can pretty much call this the Jonny Blaze version Ghost Rider first appearance. However, it's not quite 100% accurate, I guess, first appearance, but that's neither here nor there because we get another Ghost Rider. And I'll tell you why this one is technically in kind of important to me, but I made a slight mistake because anybody that knows me know that I do not like collecting action figures of characters that I've already previously had, but apparently I made a mistake in all the Ghost Riders that I've got over the years, and I'll tell you the reason why later or during this video or something like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about a Ghost Rider. Top of the box. You've seen the sides of the boxes, and hopefully well enough on the rotating rotator. The bottom of the box with the sideways barcode and the itty bitty text. I don't know why, when you had so much space to make it larger. Anywho, okay. Back of the box with a, I guess, brief little description of Jonny Boy here, and Kaneda slide. Yes, if you haven't seen the anime Akira and the character Kaneda with his iconic bike drift, or whatever you want to call it, motorcycle drift, that apparently gets mimicked a lot throughout the pop culture community and animation and all of that. But you will hear a lot of people call it the Akira slide or whatever. But the character that rode the motorcycle that did it, his name was Kaneda. That was the character. And he did this iconic skirt drift. All right. And it's called the Kaneda slide. So, yeah. Okay. But that's not about him. This is about Ghost Rider. So let's magical poof him out of this box to see what we got going on. So magical poof. Okay, dokie. We got a lot of bits and pieces here. Let's put Jonny Boy to the side. You know what? I forgot something. Give me a second. Whoop. Okay, guys, here's the thing. Normally when I talk about a character like this and all the parties that play into what goes into a character like this, I like to make sure my viewers and subscribers, such as yourself, don't get led astray by doing this. Whoop. By putting on my robes of salvation and welcome you to the Church of Marvel, where we wish you salutations here at the Church of Marvel. Yes. And now that you know that you are protected and covered by total goodness, we can move on and talk about such a demonic character. Let's go on with the show. Whoop. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. Yeah, it gets on my nerve too. Okay, Jonny, or Mr. Ghostwriter there, we'll move him out the way. We're gonna talk about I guess the accessory. Well, that's part of the bike. Accessories. He have two pistol holding hands. I don't know why, but I guess it's mostly for as a grip, just to hold his chain of fire, things like that. Would you focus? Oh, cut it out and focus. Okay. All right, and got that. Another open palm, kind of grippy left hand. A piece of fire that goes probably somewhere on his motor McCann. An alternate head that I don't know where it comes from, what it references, or anything like that. However, thanks to the good channel at Robo Don't Know, apparently you can separate this, because if you cannot tell, it has like a little flaming skull inside the fiery fire head engulf. But you can separate this and out, and I guess I don't know if I'll do it here. If it's easy, I'll do it. Oh, it is pretty easy. Oh wow, I'll do it later. Okay, but yeah, you can kind of separate that and I guess expose the head or whatever. Robo just wanted to make his white, so and it actually looked good. But anywho, that's neither here nor there. Handlebars for which look pretty good. His motorcycle that, or you can call it his hell cycle or whatever, and we can go ahead and just snap a rooski this right onto there. All right. I'm assuming this little piece of fire goes here. I mean, it for some odd reason, it makes sense. But I wanted to, before I start putting on fire effects and stuff like that, I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now. His bike didn't always, Johnny Blaze's motorcycle didn't always look like this, or Ghost Rider's motorcycle didn't always look like this. Oh, by the way, I know I use this. I'm sorry, I can't talk it, but I use magic to unbox these guys. But seriously, be careful when you're trying to, if you get this, taking this out of the package, because it was kind of, of course, snugly snugged in the little thing, and pulling us with a snap this and all of that jazz. So, and it has these little plastic wraps on them that I thought were a thing of the past, but apparently not. So, yeah. So there you have it. So just be careful, all jokes aside, be careful when you take this thing out of the package if you happen to get one. Okay? So that's not only with that warning, I guess I should also say that, ahead of time, heat up your action figures before you pose them. That helps reduce the chances of breakage. Okay. All right, so okie dokie. Oh, I'll do all that crap later. But motorcycle, good looking bike. Of course, it's a reuse from other motorcycles before. I can't remember all the guys or all the characters that they used this motorcycle from, but yeah. And since we're on the topic of talking vehicles and stuff like this, we're gonna get a Robbie Reyes figure. Hence the reason why I'm talking about this Ghost Rider. So, we'll speak more about Robbie Reyes. But we're gonna get a Robbie Reyes figure, and he, it was a Haslab before, but it didn't come with the. It was a failed Haslab because nobody wanted to pay the price for that. Hell Charger is what it's called, the car. And my thing was, it's because they was put all those bells and whistles on them, like lights and effects and all of that, and that probably boosted up the price of it. And I'm like, we didn't need that. All the thing we needed was something as simple as this, although this is small or something like that. But what I'm saying is that handlebar swivel, rolling wheels, little plastic effects that can snap on, and Bob's your uncle, and that's all we need, man. We didn't need engine that actually moved, tires that actually looked like they was on fire through LEDs and stuff like that. We don't. I appreciate it. I do appreciate when they do things like that. And if you're the type of person that want things like that, I mean, more power to you. But yeah, man, no, we just want just to play with our toy. We don't want to spend a person like me, I don't want to spend a fortune on a toy that I'm just going to sit on the shelf or take pictures of and just go vroom vroom and clickety clack with. I don't want a $500 toy that I'm just scared to touch or let anybody else touch because it was expensive. But anyway, that's the rant for the day. I paid the rant. Okay. And we got Jonny here. And 9 times out of 10, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to pose him on his bike. So, my God, he is stiff. Okay, boot swivel. Thank goodness. Heat up your action figures before you pose them, kidults. As I said before. I don't know, man. I'm gonna do a lot of talking about that. So let's just go ahead and cold pose them, and I really should stop cold posing because this is scaring me. Oh, butterfly joints. Can he at least? Oh, good God, I can't do it. I'm sorry, guys. We just gonna go ahead and put it on a rotator because he is really stiff. I should heat him up a bit. So let's do that. Okay, I'm back. And yes, he is a lot more loosey-goosey now. All right. When it comes to looking nicey. And I used a pretty powerful heat gun. So I don't recommend the one that I use. I'll show you. It's this, I guess, called Wagner or whatever. I don't know what model or nothing like that. I had it for years. But yeah, if you're gonna use this or something that's strong or something like that, make sure you don't have it up there like that, guys. A little further back, but because it will melt you. So you don't need nothing this powerful just to heat up your action figures. Just a regular hair dryer or a like little desk space heater will be just fine. Okay. Anywho, let's get this before he cool back down and get stiff again. But yeah, see, he already cool enough cause the butterfly shoulders and joints only go that far unless you like kind of squeeze them and then they do what they supposed to do, but they don't stay there. That's just a pet peeve of mine. Why give them butterfly joints if they're not gonna cross over or something like that? But anywho, if you're gonna switch out hands, of course it has 2 rings on his gloves, so be careful with that. I'm gonna assume that this holds the motorcycle handle, so I'm gonna put these hands in, for that reason, because I'm gonna pose them on this motorcycle. And like I said before, I have other Ghost Riders. Here, I'll show you again. Okay, this was the Toy Biz. I can't remember what year, something early 2000-ish Ghost Rider. All right, and yeah, at first I thought it was Johnny Blaze, which I was correct, but later I think people was thinking that this guy was Danny Ketch, who we'll talk about a little later, his brother. So so I thought I had a Danny Ketch, which he's not. Danny Ketch. It's Johnny Blaze because, and I'll show you later. Are you understand? Let's not worry about all that right now. Anywho, then along came this Ghost Rider who I think is Danny Ketch or a version of Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. So I was like, great. I think I got me a Danny Ketch or another Johnny Blaze, because he also did a look like this too, but I think it was a different color. The flames and stuff were different. But so once again, like I said, it was. Can I see the year on this thing? It look like it says 2012. So anywho, all right. So yeah, that became this one. So I'm like, okay, I got confused. So I'm like, I can't remember who this was. So I have to look later. So now I'm back to square one when it comes to Ghost Rider figures. So, and who I have and who I don't have. So the thing is that I should put a head on him. Because I was gonna try to just show you guys about, head swapping. If I was gonna use this head sculpt, which once again I was like, I don't know who that is and why he looks like that, but as I was saying, Johnny, new Johnny, and I was gonna just use this one as Danny Ketch because Danny Ketch did, quote unquote, kind of look like this, and he did, have a motorcycle a hell cycle that resembled this too. So it wasn't that far off, So does his mouth open? No, his jaw doesn't articulate. I thought it did, but all right, let's get all these people out of the way and talk about the right Johnny. Whoop. Okay. While on the rotator, that started slow. But anywho, oh, by the way, I don't want to touch it because I'm going to knock over the thing. But this little skull on the back is, bike does remove, I guess. If you, anybody that wanted to know now. And it's going to be hard putting it back on. Hey, no, it won't. Anywho, so and there you go. I tried to get, that look of the Canada slide back in that, but yeah, I guess it looks better in pictures when you kind of put the streak effects on it and all of that. And you can lean it a little more. That's why I use that little odd kickstand part of it, because it helps the bike lean to the side. But yeah, let's bring in the monitor and tell whoever doesn't know who this guy is a little bit more about who this guy is, and who would like a little bit more information of who this guy is. So let's do that. Whoop. Okay, so yeah, I making sure that everything could fit on the screen here, and to say the least, let's go ahead and get going and find out who this Ghost Rider person is. But first, let's do a quick recap of saying that this Ghost Rider was not the very first Ghost Rider, and that title of Ghost Rider, of the first original Ghost Rider, goes to Carlton Clyde Slade. I can't remember his name, but Slade, who was the original Ghost Rider, first debuted in 1966, and but now is currently the Phantom Rider, and his name is Carter Slade. But anywho, that was the first Ghost Rider. But now this Ghost Rider after him, created by Gary Frederick and Mike Plug, and first appearing in Marvel Spotlight issue 5 of the Ghost Rider. Okay, let's start it off like this. Once upon a time, there was a demon by the name of Zarathos. Zarathos had a pretty much a knack for human souls for whatever reason, like possessing them, doing things for them, or all demon stuff. And it often caused a conflict with other demons. One of those other demons being Mephisto. And not to put too fine of a point on it, Mephisto is basically one of the versions of Marvel's Satan. Okay. Anywho, Mephisto really didn't like Zarathos, so one day he did something like tricked him into being trapped, inside of other human bodies, or I guess I should just say mortals. he tricked his rival nemesis, or whatever he thought he was to him, into being trapped inside of other mortals' bodies. Well, many years has passed, and Xanatos was still trapped inside all these other people's mortal bodies for whatever reason. Meanwhile, the demon Mephisto went on some little scavenger hunt for a powerful artifact called the Medallion of Power. Now, the Medallion of Power basically was encasement of, or I guess cage or whatever, to trap us the spirit of vengeance. Let's just go there. All right. And the spirit of vengeance is basically benevolent spirits that people believe were I guess agents of God that were meant to be hosted by other people, mortals, I guess, if you would say, to end up turning themselves into what, we call or known as Ghost Riders. Now, moving on, Johnny Blaze here was the eldest child of Barton Blaze and his mother, Naomi Cow. Now, Naomi Cow basically was part of a bloodline that was, I guess, cursed, or had part of the spirit of vengeance in her bloodline, something of that nature. Now, Naomi knew about her family's curse with the spirit of vengeance. So, and she kind of, knew that she was being hunted down by demons or so forth. And she did not want that for her son, Jonny. So she left Jonny and took her other two kids. We'll talk about those two later, Barbara and Danny. But she left Jonny with a man and friend by the name of Craig Crash Simpson, another motorcycle daredevil, just like Johnny's father was. And she took the other two of Johnny's siblings, his brother and his sister, to a lady by the name of Frances Ketch, who they later on took on her last name. So now Johnny while growing up, never did want to be a part of the whole Daredevil motorcycle stunt show that his biological father and his adopted father, Crash, wanted him to be a part of. But Jonny kept turning it down, or basically just showed no interest in joining, period. Now, Jonny soon found out that, or later found out that, his foster father, Crash, was dying of cancer. So Crash, last and final dying wish was that Jonny, who had been practicing being a stunt daredevil driver, motorcycle stunt driver. Well, I said he has been practicing on his motorcycle, and Crash realized that, and he asked him as one of his dying wishes that Jonny take over the family business of being a stunt driver. But stunt show or no stunt show, Jonny still did not want his foster parent father to die, so he was looking for other ways to keep him alive, and one of those ways was to resort to, I guess, magic or something like that. So Jonny went around to study certain mystical ways to, I guess, try to keep his father alive. Then that's when steps in the devil himself, the demon Mephisto. And Mephisto basically told Jonny, hey, let's make a deal. I promise to cure the cancer in your stepfather's, which is Crash Simpson, body, and he can live, he will survive cancer. But you would have to be my servant for the rest of your life, and later, I guess in death, you will spend eternity in hell. Well, Jonny did, of course, agree to that deal. However, although cured from cancer, Crash pretty much later instantly died from attempting a stunt that went horribly wrong. And now Jonny has also lost his foster parent father at this time now. And shortly after that, that's when Jonny, after Crash's death, shortly after that, Jonny turned into the Ghost Rider for the first time. And because believing by the way he looked with the flaming skull and all of that, he thought he was connected or servant of Satan, which in fact, that wasn't it. The spirit, he was embodied by the spirit of vengeance because of his mother's connection to the spirit of vengeance curse that was in her. So basically, yes, when he turned into the Ghost Rider, he was actually a servant of the spirit of vengeance, not Mephisto. And there you have it. All right. So, all right. And with that being said, although the spirit of vengeance was also still somehow in some way connected to the demon Zaratos, or whatever his name was. Anyway, later on, Jonny's siblings also once became Ghost Riders and servants of or agents of the spirit of vengeance. So Jonny Blaze's brother, biological brother, Danny Ketch, once later ended up becoming a Ghost Rider and embodied the powers of the spirit of vengeance. And later on, Danny's and Jonny's little sister, Barbara Ketch, embodied the spirit of violence later on. But all right, there were other people that embodied the spirit of vengeance and became Ghost Riders, like Alandria Jones, who I really couldn't find a really good picture of, but yeah, she became a ghostwriter, flaming bike and all. Michael Badelio, Badelino, who basically, technically he's not a ghostwriter because he basically got his powers from the demon Mephisto to become a version of a ghostwriter, which is called just Vengeance. However, he is still linked to the medallion of power somehow. And of course, also, whoop, he comes in action figure form too. And he also has his own, I guess, hell cycle, whatever. But anywho, Akihiro, better known as Helverine, who I thought was Wolverine with the spirit of vengeance, but actually, no, it's Wolverine's son, or one of Wolverine's sons, kids. You know, he has kids. Wolverine does. But then, of course, there are people like the new Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes. And although Robbie Reyes is a Ghost Rider, he doesn't drive a motorcycle. Robbie Reyes has a car that turns into what do they call it? The Hell Charger. Yeah, so a Dodge Charger that turns demonic or whatever you want to call it. And last, but I'm pretty sure not the final person that was a Ghost Rider and had the spirit of vengeance in him was Johnny Blaze's brother, Danny Ketch, who, once again, like I said, I was going to use my Toy Biz version of Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, to be my Danny Ketch. But, yeah, with that being said, while I was being told that this version of the first Ghost Rider we had was Danny Ketch, it was not, because even on the back of the package, it literally said Johnny Blaze. However, Hasbro not too long ago came out with the version of Ghost Rider, and with the, I guess, the more familiar motorcycle that we all know and love. And this version of Ghost Rider was Danny Ketch, because it says it's on the back of the package. But oh well, I'll figure it out later, or whatever annoys me the most. But as it stands right now, I can say I can still pretend that I got another Ghost Rider, or I can just go upgrade it. I don't know. There's something about it, this film. But guess what kind of powers a Ghost Rider have? Ghost Rider has super strength. Well, in his Johnny Blaze, or in the Spirit of Vengeance's Ghost Rider form, I should say, but I'm assuming that they're all the same. Ghost Rider is strong. He can lift up to like 25 tons, although that's on a scale of saying that he can increase his the Spirit of Vengeance power can increase that to where he can lift more. And of course, superhuman speed. And but the thing is, even when he's not on his motorcycle and in Ghost Rider form, the Ghost Rider can still move at an incredible speeds far greater than average human being. Ghost Rider also has, extremely high levels of agility and reflexes. He is extremely durable, and he can regenerate, because The Ghost Rider can take impacts and blows from beings as strong as the Incredible Hulk, and even if like can get his skull cracked in half, stuff like that, and he can just get back up and regenerate himself. But that doesn't mean that Ghost Rider can't get hurt at all, because weapons that are formed from like heavenly beings, like angels or stuff like that, and of that nature, can hurt and harm the Ghost Rider. The Ghost Rider can also generate something called Hellfire, and despite what it sounds like, it's not exactly that, but it does basically what's called purify wicked people, be they mortal or immortal, or something like that. So I guess cleanse them of their wicked ways or something, or it can basically attack or entrap them in any case or whatever. And yes, he can shoot it from his hands, from the chain that he wears around his waist or throws or stuff like that. Or he can shoot it from his, hellfire from his eyes or mouth, like a dragon. And he can rain hellfire down from the sky and surround it through people. And on top of that, the Ghost Rider can engulf fire and flames or something like that. So even if it's not hellfire itself, if it's just a regular fire, the Ghost Rider can, I guess, absorb it or suck it in for whatever reason. And if your quick thought says to something like, can he absorb the Human Torch? I do not know. That's a question for somebody like Comics Explains or something. I don't know. The Ghost Rider is also an exorcist. So yes, if you are possessed by a demonic spirit or demon or whatever of that nature, the Ghost Rider can expel it from your body. The Ghost Rider has size manipulation. So yes, he can increase and decrease in size. To what degree or level, it does not fully say, but he, I guess, one time became like as big as a god or something like that. Whatever. And when he was fighting Thor, it was something of that nature, but he increased in incredibly big size at will. Yeah, quick check. Yeah, he grew to like the size of Galactus, but Galactus can increase and decrease in size itself. So, max, how big? Was it the size as big as a planet? I don't know. What's the size as big as a building? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. And although it's not his specialty or anything like that, the Ghost Rider can use magic. I don't know if it's on the same level as like a Doctor Strange or a Brother Voodoo or anything like that, but although he rarely ever does it or needs it, but he is able to use magic. But I think that's more of a Johnny Blaze thing because he dabbled in magic. I don't know if it's all Ghost Riders that can do that, but Johnny Blaze can. And if you know nothing about Ghost Rider, know this, or if you don't know anything, I don't know what I'm saying here, but anybody that knows Ghost Rider knows that he has something called a penance stare. And a penance stare is basically the ability to take a person, be they wicked or evil or not. Well, I guess if you're not evil, this won't work on you because you wouldn't do that certain thing. But it makes you, anybody that looks into the Ghost Rider's eyes while he's doing this penance stare, it forces you to feel and I guess embody and remember all the pain and suffering or anything harmful that you did to a person or soul ever in your life, and all at once. So it makes you feel a tremendous amount of pain, sorrow, guilt, and sadness. Well, I guess that's what sorrow means. But yes, that's what the penance stare does. However, it has been shown to not fully work on certain people. One of few of those people are Deadpool. Apparently, the penance stare doesn't work on Deadpool, Wade Wilson. The Punisher, Frank Castle. The penance stare does not fully work on Frank Castle because Frank feels like everybody that he has ever killed in his life fully deserved it. And for the most part, they did. Because he only went after mobsters and gangsters and killers himself. So, and the other person that the penance stare doesn't work on is Thanos. And Thanos basically entrapped, I guess, at one point, I guess, captured and trapped the Ghost Rider, or basically forces the Ghost Rider to use the penance stare on him out of basic pleasure, because he wanted to feel all those suffering and pain, all those people that he caused on. So basically, Thanos keeps Ghost Rider around just to use the penance stare on him to get high. Okay, this is fun. That's long enough.